so for those who don't know, Founder Institute is the only global pre-seed accelerator. It's the only pre-seed accelerator in the Caribbean. So we're in a space where we can help you to incubate your ideas, or we can help you to grow a small business into a scalable business. These webinars that we're having, we are just showing you things that you can use in the ecosystem as tools that you can use to get started. But also we have a training program that we'll tell you about later on. And you can also get more information about this as well at fi.co. So without further ado, I'm just gonna ask Wayne if you can just say hello for us a moment and introduce our speakers for tonight.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wayne. Welcome to tonight's webinar. Today we're going to be looking at the ever-present challenge of financing high-impact entrepreneurs in Jamaica. So what we have done is we have lined up a series of speakers. One who is a venture capitalist. His name is Hugo. Hugo is a naturalized in Jamaica, and he's from Africa originally, but spent time in Europe and in the US, and he's actually now supporting the DBJ, Development Bank in Jamaica, in setting up our first real venture capital fund for early stage startup. Must apologize, Hugo is running a little bit late. He's actually traveling this evening, and he's having some issues at the airport. And then we have Upton Nicholas, who is going to come to us from Exim Bank, and he's going to be sharing with us what goodies Exim Bank has in store for us. I think Exim sits in a unique place within the ecosystem because it's a government-led institution, but it has the autonomy to operate at the retail level, unlike the Development Bank of Jamaica, who sits at the apex level of the financing landscape. So we should be, what Nicholas has shared with us should be very exciting. And then also we have Paul Chen, who works at the Development Bank of Jamaica. And so he'll be bringing to us the overall macro perspective as to what is being done at that macro level to ensure that there's adequate financing for a new type of business that we're trying to facilitate here at the Founders Institute. So within his arsenal, we're looking at the venture capital ecosystem, the private equity, also new innovative financing mechanisms around, factoring, receivable financing. And I know they have a very good program, which is a credit enhancement fund program that should be able to create some option for persons looking to grow and scale their businesses. Given that you guys not present on the line, I think it would perhaps be good for us to start with Upton, Tanelia, and then we can take questions after.
Yes, Wayne, that's a good idea. So Upton, when you're ready, you can just open your mic and camera and can just introduce yourself for a moment before beginning your presentation. I know we're putting you up the schedule a little bit early. I'm not sure he's hearing. Upton?
Upton is a good batsman, man. He's able to move up the order quite easily.
I'm here.
Okay, great. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions during the presentation, you can send them in the chat. And you can also raise your hand during the Q&A so that we can identify if you want to ask your question over the mic. Okay, so go ahead, Upton, with the presentation. Welcome again.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the first. Let me say thank you for the invitation. It's always awesome to speak to an audience where financing is concerned, because we're in the business of financing. So it's important for us to let our presence be felt and persons understand that Exim Bank was created on the thrust of to be a friend of the private sector and to provide direct financing to small and medium enterprises throughout the length and breadth of Jamaica with the primary aim of contributing significantly to GDP and to create employment and to help our economy to grow, while our motto is to, while we save lives, we're also saving livelihoods. So my presentation, let me see if I can share it, share my screen. Okay. So it would ask me for a window, which would be this one. Can you confirm if you're seeing my presentation?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, all right. So we are all seeing it?
Yes, we are.
All right. So Exim Bank was established, and since our birth, our DNA is to drive business development among small and medium businesses in the productive sector, to nurture from infancy to maturity, and to assist businesses with affordable and accessible loan financing. So it's important to understand who we serve, because Exim Bank was created for a specific role. So I'll just indicate shortly for you to understand that the sectors that we serve ranges from export, distribution, tourism, manufacturing and production, agro business, agro-processing, agro-business processing, mining, and the creative industry. So Exim has a specific category of businesses that we serve. So it's important for our audience to understand what's the classification of a small, of a micro, a small, a medium, and a large business. So for small businesses, which small and medium businesses is our direct target market, where we look at companies that have annual revenues ranging between 15 to 75 million and have employees between 6 to 20 employed between 6 to 20 persons. So if you are not within that space, then you would, before that, you would be considered a micro business, where we would have to look at your business on a case-by-case basis with some level of immediacy, where we see where you will be going to meet the minimum criteria of a small business. Then our medium-sized business earns annual revenue between 75 million to 425 million, and it employs up between 21 to 50 employees. So it's kind of important for a lot of our business owners to understand who we serve as an organization. So we generally have three main product lines that we offer to our clients, which is a short-term loan facility, which has a maximum loan term not exceeding 270 to 365 days. It's primarily used for working capital support. It's more of a revolving line of credit, and it's accessible for receivable financing. We also have our medium-term loan facility, which is an installment credit facility up to a maximum of 7 years, which is used for capital investment, which it could include, but not limited to, purchase of equipment, expand your infrastructure, if you have minimal debt consolidation, digitization of your processes, and if you're also into e-commerce. We have our trade credit insurance, which is a protection against commercial or political risks, primarily for our exporters and our distributors. So you're sending out your goods and you want to guarantee payments, or trade credit insurance is what we offer to our exporters and distributors to provide a peace of mind so they can ensure that, yes, I've made this investment and I'm now taking this risk to send my goods to a buyer. Will I be able to get payment? So we provide that facility to give you some ease and some peace of mind. What we have done in recent times is that we know that times are hard. Um, so not just in terms of monetary, but also in terms of the amount of time that you have to get for, and I'm sure for self-employed individuals, 24 hours is probably not enough in each day for you to really achieve all the activities or the tasks that you would have assigned yourself each day. So we want it to be a little more convenient for, instead of sending you around to pull down the full list of our requirements, we have 4 standard things that we ask for just to see if we can test and look at the financial health of the business, where we look at your financial statements, whether it be audited or unaudited. So if it is a loan facility that you're seeking that is below 25 million, then your audited financial statements can be used and can be accepted. We also look at your cash flow statements because we want to see how is it that you're going to repay the loan, as also we want to have an idea how you're going to scale your business, because it's important for us to continue to nurture your business. As we said, it's in our DNA. We also ask that you put assumption notes, so you put some notes to support the numbers. That's pretty much what the assumption notes are about. So the the credit bureau is so kind to give us all Jamaicans and businesses at least one free credit bureau annually. So we'd want you to just reach out online and pull that report and forward it to us, because we want to also look at the track record. Currently, in our risk appetite, we're not offering any unsecured facilities at this point. It's in the pipeline, but currently, so we have to ensure that we verify what sort of collateral support that you will have for those proposals that you want to put forward to Exim, to look at the risk and see how best we can assist you. So what I've done is I've kind of segmented the different sectors and to show some key highlights or some product facilities that we, or some loan facilities that we have for each sector. So in the tourism sector, and the tourism sector don't necessarily refer that you're a direct player in the industry. If you're also within the linkages and can confirm that 25% of your revenues are from tourism related activities, then you can access this loan facility up to a maximum of 25 million Jamaican dollars over a 7-year period. If you decide that you want to do a medium-term facility or an installment type facility, or if you want to do a revolving facility, you can get that facility up to 12 months. And that is renewable every 12 months. And it is, as I said, it's a revolver. So once it replenishes, full access is available to the loan, the approved loan amount. The interest rate, and I heard right here, the interest rate is actually less than 4.75. It's actually 4.5% interest rate that is available to any players, as said, that earns 25% or more in a tourism related activity. So for example, if you're in business and you're supplying an hotel, or your, whether it be products or services, then you will be able to. Say, for example, if you were into jewelry and you were supplying a gift shop in a large hotel chain on the North Coast, wherever, and you can confirm that 25% of those revenues that you have earned, then you will have access to this loan facility. It's important to understand that our exporters are the ones that are going to drive the foreign exchange and to help us to grow, help our economy to grow. And in many instances, our distributors are also the ones that move goods and services across the country, where every nook and cranny of Jamaica is touched and have access to these facilities. So we see the many box trucks and motor vehicles going out doing distribution. When you send out, anything can happen. So you need to ensure that this insurance protection is for your receivables when exporting or when you're distributing. It provides coverage for both political and commercial risks up to 90% of your gross invoice. The premiums are low and start as low as 25 cents per $100, so it makes it also affordable. We have been, so we try to look at it from a perspective of, it's a three pillar or a three column type facility, insurance facility, where we offer insurance coverage. We offer what is known as our insurance policy discounting facility, which is a loan collateral support type facility, which you can use for working capital, and you can access a loan facility for up to 6 months just for your short-term needs. And also, if you're an exporter and you want to understand or to check on the credibility of the persons that you will be sending your goods to, then we can do an independent verification and check. So it's like we at Exim, through our trade credit insurance, can do what the credit bureau does for local Jamaicans. So it makes it a little, as I said, it's important to know that peace of mind is at the forefront. All sectors that we serve, we come to realize that we live in a country where persons will fly all over the world just to come to Jamaica for the sun, the sea, and the sun. We want to make use of the sun. So we have developed an energy loan facility that is, every time I get some feedback from players in the market, it is known that Exim has the best rate in terms of an energy loan, and you have all intentions of going green. You would know that your energy cost is probably one of the single highest costs, operating costs that a business may have. So we have developed our alternate energy loan facility with loan limits between 5 to 50 million, up to 7 years. When we look, and 7 years is very good, because when we look at the payback for most of the infrastructure that are being put in place for reduction in energy costs, within 4 years, most of those, it would have been able to repay for the infrastructure that they would have invested in. At seven, and that's at 7.5%. It's a very good interest rate, and we're lowest in the market at this point. So for us to understand what sort of energy needs you have, it's important to look at the energy assessment for loans that are less than 40 million and an energy audit. My fellow colleague from DBJ will tell you that they also offer grants for you to get these energy audits done. I think the grant is up to $200,000. So coming to us, you can access some grants from DBJ to get your energy audit and your assessment completed. So here you are in business, and you would have given credit to some of your customers, but giving credit simply means that your cash flow will be impacted. So seeing that there's an impact on your cash flow, we have made our receivable financing available to clients with monies owed to them by government entities, publicly listed companies, large hotel chains, or Exim customers in good standing. These facilities range up to between 90 days to 180 days for payment. So if it's for a government entity, then you will have up to 180 days for settlement. So we're hoping that during this time, between the 90 days standard and the 180 for government entities, that you would have been able to receive payment, or Exim Bank would receive the payment on your behalf. We have considered it that it's a menial interest rate that we do, because we just want to ensure that your business remains viable. So it's 2.75% over 90 days, just to, because it's all about affordable financing and easy access to financing for our clients. So that's the end of my presentation. I am open to questions, and I'll keep on screen for a few minutes my contact information. You can always give me a call, send me an email. I'll take WhatsApp just the same. Or you can visit our website for more information.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nicholson. Okay, so I guess I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. I don't see any.
I have a question.
Hands up. Okay. But I just want to know, so when we can't do the Q&A yet, for the interest of time, we have another speaker that's coming up. So we're just gonna have you ask your question and then we'll move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Yes, it was specifically to the energy sector that you were describing in your presentation. Is that for an upgrade of current business, or is that an energy production in and of itself?
So if you already have the energy, if you already have the system in place and you want to upgrade the system, we can also facilitate. If you don't have it and want to install it, then we also will be happy to assist.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd add that question. And I notice you start at $5 million. You don't go any lower?
Generally, when we were doing our focus group and we were dealing with the stakeholders, they indicated that for commercial, majority of the systems are to meet that the need in terms of consumption, it would cost anywhere in the region between $5 to $8 million minimum to get a reliable system in place. So that's how we came about with our minimum loan amount.
Yeah, I noticed that the cost of solar actually trending down because of what's happening with overproduction in China. But that's good. No, that's excellent. So do you actually have take up for that loan?
We do have a few prospects in train because it's fairly new. So the cost is not just for the equipment, but it also includes we include the cost as part of the installation as part of the overall cost. So it's the invoice would include both your installation and the equipment. So it would make it that is, so it's more than just the equipment.
Excellent. Oh, thank you very much for that presentation. Great job, both
Thank
times.
you. You're welcome.
But I have some questions here. We're going to reserve it until after Paul speaks.
No problem. No problem.
Just before you proceed, Tanila, just one slight adjustment to the agenda. Unfortunately, we won't have Hugo for the presentation. He has an issue at the airport that he's attending to, but I will share some information on his fund after Paul's presentation, and we'll get through the Q&A. Okay? He did send me his deck, but it is more a deck for the investors because it's still in a raise. But I'll speak to the points that are relevant to young entrepreneurs seeking venture capital or private equity investment. So Paul is one of our supporters, and Dad, evangelist for building the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Jamaica. See, I so long I don't see me with a gray beard now. You know, so things
Are you
going
hearing
on.
me? Are you hearing me,
Yeah,
Wayne?
I hear it loud and clear. So
Oh,
Paul
good.
runs a lot of the programs at DBJ over many years, different in different sectors. I think he now runs a partnership, general manager of partnerships and relationships at the Development Bank of Jamaica. And from where he sits and his overall experience in the industry, he'll be able to give us some insights as to what DBJ can offer, startups and small businesses, and impact entrepreneurs in terms of access to finance. So, Paul, I'm going to hand over to you, and then afterwards we'll take some questions.
Thank you, Wayne. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is dry. Had a bit of a tussle getting here in the traffic. Crazy out on the road.
Absolutely.
Tell me if you're seeing my screen.
It's coming up now. Yes.
All right, great. All right, let me try and navigate Zoom. All right, so this evening I will be looking at DBJ's products and services. So I know the theme of the evening's event is how to finance your business with equity. I'll move away from equity as well. DBJ does have some equity products, but we have a wide range of other products and services for MSMEs. So I'll touch on everybody and I'll give you a little background or little insight on how DBJ operates. So, okay, if I can find. All right, so as Wayne said, my name is Paul Chin. I'm the manager for DBJ's Investor Relationships Unit. And that's just what the bank calls me. I have responsibility for DBJ's direct lending portfolio. We do some direct lending into strategic sectors. I also have responsibility for the DBJ sales team. So we have all the forward interactions with MSMEs on the ground. We do the trade shows. We also interact with sector groups and associations. And I also have responsibility for the microfinance lending portfolio. So overworked as is usual in government. So what does the DBJ do? You may hear DBJ, but not entirely certain what the DBJ does or how the DBJ does it. So we'll look at that very quickly. In a nutshell, in its most basic form, DBJ seeks to facilitate economic growth and development as well as job creation. Don't worry about what you see on the website, the fancy mission statement and all of that. In its very basic form, that's what we do. We facilitate economic growth and development as well as job creation. Our target is MSMEs, and the different levels for MSMEs from micro is any business earning up to $15 million in revenue per year. A small business is one classified as that earning up to 75 million per annum. And for medium-sized businesses, anything between 75 and $425 million in revenue per year. Anything above that, you're classified as a large institution or large business, sorry. DBJ's core areas, we do loans, we do credit guarantees. So you'll hear about our CEF or credit enhancement facility. We do capacity building and offer technical support to businesses. We also run the government's privatization and public-private partnership unit. So we have responsibility for the divestment of specific government assets, assets which are better suited to be run by private companies. Not all privatization or divestment is giving away or selling the assets. Some of them are long-term leases, some of them are concession agreements, and the assets will pass back to the government perhaps after 30, 35 years, maybe 50 years, depending on what is negotiated. So like the highway, North-South Highway comes back to government sometime in the future. The airports, same thing. And we also have our private capital unit, which looks at equity for MSME. Let's say SME. We have a couple of key projects. We have the Big E project, which is an IDB funded initiative, some 25 million US over 5 years. And Big E is an acronym for boosting innovation growth in entrepreneurial ecosystem. So Big E looks at providing a lot of technical support and capacity building to MSMEs. We also still have, as a matter of fact, an access to finance program, which is a World Bank sponsored program, which aims to provide, let's say, an enabling environment for businesses to operate more efficiently. So under the access to finance, the DBJ looked at how it can bring new products and services into the market that would facilitate or benefit MSMEs in their operation. How do we do all of this with just one location at 11A to 15 Oxford Road? Our products and services are offered primarily through a network of partners. So we work with our financial partners, our A5s, those are our 2 financial institutions. And these are your commercial banks, your credit unions, your near banks. So funding agencies like Parita and Mayberry Investments are 2 of our A5 partners. We also have partnerships with microfinance institutions. We currently have, I believe it's 13 accredited microfinance institutions. We work with fund managers as well as angel investors. We work with business support organizations, BDOs, and we work with business support intermediaries, which is slightly different. Your standard BDO is an institution or an entity, that will provide you with, say, financial statements or a marketing plan. A business service intermediary is an institution which will work with you more from inception, from your startup, handhold you, provide incubator services, provide different types of technical assistance. So you have businesses like the JBDC, Sisters Inc., Branson Center. Those would be classified as BSI, business support intermediaries. And as I mentioned earlier, we do some direct lending, and this is done primarily in strategic sectors. So a few years ago, we were responsible for the building out of the BPO sector. We funded some 1 million square feet of space for BPO operators who were coming on the island. So primarily we work through our intermediaries, and that is how we get our products and services to businesses and entrepreneurs. So this evening I've been looking at 4 categories of products: our grants, our loans, our credit guarantees, and our equity. I won't touch on the PPP or the P4, which is the privatization and public-private partnership. That's a specialized area and doesn't really treat with MSMEs. So first up, on the grant side, we have our energy audit grant. And my colleague from the Exim Bank mentioned this towards the end of his presentation. Our grants are up to $200,000, and this product is to help MSMEs understand how energy is being used in their business. What we have found over the years is that businesses might not necessarily need major overhaul in terms of their energy. Sometimes just being able to tweak certain things within your business operation can get you savings. So the grant allows you to get a certified energy professional to provide recommendations as to how you can save, how you can cut costs. And this grant is open to all businesses. You can apply the full product information or the full details, including a list of the energy auditors, should be on our website now. And I say should because up to 2 weeks ago, it had to be taken down and put back up. But if it is not there, you can feel free to reach out to me directly and I will get that information to you. The energy audit is a prerequisite for for MSMEs at any rate, for our energy loans. Usually the energy audit will come with some kind of recommendation if they are suggesting or recommending that you go with an energy saving system like a PV system. Let's see if this will play. Not sure it will, has been giving problems, but we have our innovation grant fund. Are you hearing anything? Is anybody hearing? I suspect not. No.
No.
So you're hearing?
Seeing but not hearing.
Oh, we're not hearing the video. No.
Oh, not hearing the video. Okay.
Hearing you, but not video.
It has been doing this. So let me tell you what the video is. So Innovation Grant Fund is one of our grant programs which provide, as you know, grant is free money, which provides free money for innovation in medium-sized businesses. So you may have seen 14 million pop up on the screen. The grant has since been increased to $20 million. And Wayne will tell you that an innovation can be a new product that you're bringing to market, or it can be an improvement on an existing product, which you're also bringing to market. DBJ will provide grants of up to $20 million for that kind of innovation. Now, the last IGF fund closed on the 13th of February. It is usually offered on a call basis. So the call on the IGF went out was open for 6 weeks. So it went out at the beginning of January. The next call for IGF will probably go out closer to the end of the year or probably early next year, because how the fund operates is there are milestones that businesses have to meet in order to get disbursements under the grant facility. So we usually try not to overlap cohorts too much. So the next IGF will probably not come out before earliest end of this year. And hopefully by that time, we may see an increase in the value of the grant. We also have our Ignite grant, and Ignite is an acronym for Innovation Grant for New Ideas, from New Ideas to Entrepreneurship. And this is a grant for micro and small businesses. The grant has two components. A $3 million component, which is for ideation. So this will support new ideas for emerging technologies that have the potential to become high growth businesses. And ideation means you don't necessarily have to have the product in the market as yet. $3 million will allow you to bring that product to market. The other component of Ignite is the commercialization component, which supports activities to enable the commercialization of your new idea or your new technology. and that grant is up to $7 million. And of course, as with IGF, there are milestones that you have to meet for disbursements under the grant. Now, Ignite, the next cohort for Ignite should come out in the second quarter of 2024, that is between April to June. I know the grant is being worked on now, and we expect to see something in the media on that, I would say towards the end of next month. So if you're interested, you think you have an innovation or an innovative product or service, keep your eyes peeled for Ignite sometime towards the end of March. So DBJ has so far seeded a number of equity funds, primarily on the angel side. So how DBJ operates is we don't house the expertise in-house to manage these funds. So we invest beside these investors to create a larger fund. So currently there are 3 funds which have been signed off on. There's the Stratos Fund, which works through NCB. There's the Vertex Fund, which operates through JMMB, and the Actros VM Jasmine Fund, which is VM is the lead on that fund. And information from that is also on our website, but you can reach out to me directly if you're in a position, or if you think that you're at the point where you are looking at equity towards growing your business. Just to warn you, or just to put it out there, that sometimes equity, so there's a difference. If you need angels will come in with you on the ground. They'll provide you with not only financial assistance, but they will provide you with their expertise. And you will also get access to their networks. Usually high net worth individuals, influential businesses that can get you to grow your operations. On the venture side, venture capitalists are looking for more developed businesses which they can invest in and look to come out in anywhere 3 to 5 years, whether through an IPO or a buyback, once your business is doing well. And of course, venture products and angel products and equity products generally are all classified as patient capital. These guys are usually in your operation assisting you for the long haul. We also have the Jamaica Business Fund, and this says Cycle 5 on the slide. Cycle 6 was actually just launched last week. And that's a call for supply chain and business clusters operating in the productive sector. So the last set of JBF or previous sets of DBS funding went to businesses in agriculture. Last call, we looked at turmeric, we have done coffee, we have done pepper mash, we have done, this year there's the spices. So turmeric is part of Cycle 5. So the actual supply chain, which will comprise of a minimum of 4 registered companies per cluster, that chain can get or access up to 300,000 US to improve productivity within those registered companies in the chain, and with the ultimate aim of enhancing the cluster's competitiveness both regionally and internationally. So at the end of a cluster, we want to see products being exported to the Caribbean and the wider world. The focus is on things like adopting new technologies, new products, implement new business models, and of course, I mentioned export. And of course, export will always work hand in hand with import substitution. Eligible sectors, all productive sectors in Jamaica are eligible, and some of the sectors we have financed before: agriculture, manufacturing, IT, and some cost-cutting services such as ecotourism, health and wellness are also eligible to participate in the supply chain. Just launched, so JBF information is on the DBJ's website. We have a patent grant. Now, this is for the inventors amongst you. Funds can be accessed for patent application fees to cover drafting and filing, amendments, examiner review, and to engage a patent attorney for things like pre-filing searches, assessment, drafting of filings, and so on. This is not a widely taken up grant because, of course, it has primarily to do with invention. So if you fit in that category, perhaps the patent grant is the ideal grant for you to apply for. On the loan side, though MSME loans generally will finance up to 90% of project costs for MSMEs. For large entities, we'll do up to 70%. Our maximum loan limits were increased last year. We can go now up to 10 million US or 1.5 billion Jamaican dollars. Our interest rates are competitive. Interest rates in the market, interest rate market tends to be very dynamic and can be driven or is driven oftentimes by policy interest rates set by the Bank of Jamaica. So we constantly survey the market to see how best we can adapt to what is happening in such a competitive landscape. So interest rates will be oftentimes not less than the commercial banks because we can't afford to come into the market too far below because then you end up distorting the market. But we try to compete as best as possible. Commercial banks have a significantly large block of funds through savings, and anybody who has stayed with a commercial bank will realize that you're getting half of a percent, 1% maybe on your savings. So banks can afford to slash rates if they think they're under threat. Where we do beat banks in most cases is our loan tenure. We routinely go up to 10 years, and in some cases we have gone out to 15 years on an amortized schedule, but with a bullet payment at year 10. So at the beginning of your loan, your interest and principal payments are lower, which gives you time to build up cash in your business. And the expectation is you'll be able to pay out in 10 years, or you can look at perhaps a renegotiation for another 5 years. We support businesses also by way of providing a moratorium on principal payments of up to 24 months. This, of course, is subject to cash flows. When do funds start to flow into your business? If you're setting up and you start getting funds in 12 months sufficient to service your loan, we're not going to give you a 24-month moratorium. So the moratorium period will always reflect what the cash flows look like within your business operation. An example, if you're a farmer, you're into bananas take 9 months to come in, you're not doing any other cash crop, you could get a moratorium of up to 9 months, perhaps 10 months for your banana cultivation. So that's how we look at it. General criteria: registered and operating in Jamaica, you must be tax compliant. Your project must be technically and financially viable, and equity injection of up to 10 to 30%. This is always critical. lenders, not just the DBJ, banks, microfinance institutions, want to see what is routinely called skin in the game. You need to show a commitment to the project. The institution alone will not fund you 100%. We have our energy loans, and for residential and commercial energy. 5, we go up to 40 million for commercial loans, and this is for MSMEs. For larger entities, we can go as high as our limit of $1.5 billion, if that is what your energy project will cost. We can look at that. Interest rates, our interest rates now, our colleagues at the Exim Bank are whipping us left, right, and center. But our interest rates are still competitive at 9.5%. Our tenor though can go up to 10 years, and we can give you a moratorium on your principal payment of up to a year for your energy facility. We have our credit enhancement facility. There is always a cry in the market that MSMEs don't have any or sufficient collateral. This is the product for you. For MSME loans, we do up to 80% of the loan amount, up to a maximum of $30 million. And for larger guarantees, we can guarantee your loans for up to $50 million. For smaller loans, up to 11.1 million, we do up to 90% of the loan, up to a maximum of $10 million. Startup businesses in operation up to 24 months can also benefit, but the guarantees are a little lower, I think up to a maximum of $5 million. Guarantees have a maximum tenure of up to 10 years, and there's a 2% per annum administrative fee to issue the guarantee. Okay, so in a nutshell, I just went through the list of DBJ products and services. All the information I just gave you resides on the dbj.com, dbankjm.com, website. We can also be reached through our switchboard, and we have a dedicated WhatsApp line. If you call it, it will not be answered. You have to send a message to the line, and somebody will get back to you in 24 hours is our standard. Sometimes we don't make it, sometimes we go to 48, depending on how busy the line is, but we always try and get back to you within 24. We're also on all the social media platforms, DB Jamaica. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter, and we are on Instagram. So we can be reached. And if you go to the DBJ website, you will find links for the Big E project. You'll find links for patent grants. You'll find links for Ignite, IGF, everything I just mentioned a while ago. So thank you for listening. And if there are any questions, I will hand you back to Wayne, and he can guide from here. Thanks again.
Hey, thank you very much, Paul. That was rich. I mean, I know DBJ for a long time. I didn't know that you guys have so much stuff to offer.
It's a whole ton of stuff.
Yes, this is impressive. I'll hand over to Tanila for questions before I'm going to share some thoughts on what the venture capital fund has to offer.
Okay, let me take on that presentation.
Okay, hi. Welcome again to me, back to me. All
Okay,
right, I'm just bringing up a brief presentation. We're going to have questions afterwards. In the meantime, I'm just going to tell you briefly what exactly we do at Founder Institute for those of us who don't know. Just
Some hands up.
there's a hand up.
Yeah.
I see a question too. I think someone asking Paul for his email address.
I'll put it, there's a chat, right? I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Great. Okay, so just quickly, so Founder Institute, I don't know what is. Are you seeing my screen? I'm seeing my screen.
Yes, we're seeing
Yes,
the
we're seeing the
Food Institute
presentation,
logo.
Found Institute Jamaica.
Wonderful. Okay, so just to get started, there is no shortage of problems facing humanity, but there is definitely a shortage of ambitious entrepreneurs trying to solve them. And this is the reason why Founder Institute was founded. It was to help entrepreneurs like yourselves who wanted to start or grow their business and they didn't have any, in the ecosystem, there's no real guidance. So this was supposed to provide guidance and structure for you so that you could build your business into something that's fundable and that can grow globally. So since our founding in 2009, we have had over 4,500 startups that join our program. And we've been in 90 countries, 90 plus countries, and we have created at least 25,000 jobs. And that's from just the startups that are working in the Founder Institute system. So what we do, we have a core program that helps you, it gives you proven strategies that help you to build your business quickly. So they're using structures and systems, and you go through what we call sprints every week so that you get feedback, and you'll also get homework, so to speak, on what to do next. So it provides guidance, it provides an accountability system, and it also provides feedback from mentors in the ecosystem, as well as the Founder Institute leaders. And we take founders in primarily 2 tracks, but this year we'll be launching another track. So one is the ideation stage, or where you're just generating some ideas. And the launch track would be like for founders who already have validated their idea to some bit, but it probably needs more validation, or they haven't validated yet and it's ready for validation. So you're just launching that product. And then the growth track for founders who already have a business, they already have customers, the minimum viable product that they're already pushing out there, and now they want to gain traction in order to get funding, or they want to grow and expand their business. In the Founder Institute, so what we do now is start you off with a core program, what we call the Founder Institute here, building startups. Then after you have graduated, we will have you join an accelerator lab that will help you to continue growing your business. And then when you're ready, then we'll move you on into the venture capital lab, where you will start your seed funding process. In our local system, we have local partners that work with us. A lot of the founders, the local leaders here, have their own businesses that will also work within the ecosystem. So if you need any other services in terms of building your business, do remember to talk to us, and we can help you to guide you in the right direction and partner you with persons that are already in the ecosystem, and especially partners that we know that work with us, so that we can provide discounts for you and any other premium services that come to Founder Institute participants and alumni. In addition, Founder Institute alumni, if you graduate from the program, you get access to a wealth of perks and packages from the global ecosystem. For example, with HubSpot will usually cost about $1,000 per year, or per month. I think it's per month. HubSpot, you get it for like $100 if you're a Founder Institute alumni. So that's an idea of what kind of packages that you can get from different systems that you might need to build your business, whether it's a CRM or it's a cloud-based system or a technology support system, anything that you need. We have hundreds, and you can look at more perks that we offer on our website if you're interested. So Founder Institute is hard, and we do things hard, and we make it hard because founding a business and growing a business is even harder. So we have a very high dropout rate, And so it's not for persons who are not serious about growing their business. Entrepreneurship is a really hard lifestyle. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. And for this reason, we're not, if you know that you're not ready for that kind of journey and you can't put in the time, then we ask that you do not waste time joining the program. Also, if it's a case where you join the program and you had to drop out for whatever reason, I mean, people can drop out of this program for any reason, including having a bad idea, or you didn't have enough time, or lifestyle, something in your life came up, that's fine. You can rejoin the program at no additional cost in the following cohort, I should say, and continue with the program. So the core program, this is actually a very late. The more updated information is on the website, but our core program starts this year in June 3rd. And you're only going to pay, we still have the early deadline going out, $299. And when you start the core program, you go through the process and you graduate, we're not going to take any more money from you. And the reason why we can do this is because we have created what we call an equity program, where we share only 2% of your company in order to help to fund the support of the local ecosystem, to help build you and to help motivate mentors as well to have a stake in your company, so that they would be encouraged to grow your company as well. So everybody has a stake in growing your business. And we ask for founders, not ideas. So when you join the core program, we're bringing you into the program as a founder, as an individual, because we think that you're a great individual. And we work with you throughout your life, whether you're doing this business or you're starting a next one and ideating a next process. We're not going to ask for any more money from you. You're going to join the community of global investors and global mentors and global alumni, and it's there for life. So it's lifetime support throughout the entire process. So we're there with you until the end. And then if you grow into a multi-billion-dollar business, then everybody's happy, right? I think that's what everybody wants. So if you're interested in growing your business to get global or to expand what you're doing, or if you have a brilliant idea that's been on your mind for a while and you want to know how to monetize that idea, then contact us at fi.co, or you can send an email to us at fi.jamaica@fimail.co. And also this video that you're seeing now, if you want to watch it again or you want to share it to other persons, you can see it again on YouTube. We have a YouTube partner, Hack Central Money. So all the FI Jamaica videos go on this page. So you can see this video and previous videos of other events on this page as well. So that is it. Now we're going to open the board to questions, and then after we answer some of your questions, we go back to Wayne and he can tell us a bit more about how to use equity to fund your business. All right, so I'm looking in the chat. Okay, so I'm getting I have a question from Akeem Laws. Does the DBJ provide business credit or line of credit? And that's for Paul.
Thanks for that question. The short answer I would say is no. We need to look at specific projects if we're going to fund. So unlike a bank that will provide you with an open line, no, DBJ doesn't do that. We fund specific projects within the productive sector.
Okay. Okay, we have a question for Hopeton. It's asking about, can I get equipment? It's from Michael. Can I get equipment using LOIs?
Letters of intent.
All right.
Good evening, Michael. We do finance equipment purchase. I'm trying to understand from the letter of intent who is that letter of intent from? If you want to provide, if you could provide some clarification.
Yeah, like if I have clients who are waiting on goods and they give me a contract, can I acquire the equipment based on those contracts?
So you're a supplier of equipment?
I'm a supplier of goods and services, and I want equipment to manufacture those goods and goods.
Oh, okay. Now I do understand. There are some instances where we can facilitate using a letter of intent because it is kind of tied to receivable financing, but it would have to be with a specific group of individuals that we'd use.
Okay, thank
But you can always contact me and we can have further discussion to see how we can support your business.
you. All right, thank you so very much, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm not seeing a name here, but the question is, if you have 4 acres of land, and this is to Mr. Paul, if I have 4 acres of land and I wish to cultivate same with long-term and short-term crops, I'm not sure if you want to finish that question. I guess he's asking for financing if you have those acres of land and you wish to cultivate them, if it's this for long-term and short-term crops, how would that work? I'm assuming. If it's incorrect, I see your hand up, so you can open your mic and expound on your question if you wish.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am asking Mr. Chin the same question I have for land, and I would like to cultivate, as well as I would like to have a spa, like herbal spa on the said property. So I would like to do like coconut trees, limes, lemons, jackfruits, and those things, as well as herbs like rosemary's, cinnamon, and all of those things. I have the intention to like package and sell them, as also to do like herb smoothies and juices and other things. But as it relates to the farm itself, I would like to plant because there is a need for it and a demand. So would your company be okay or permit financial assistance to propel this farm?
So you have, thanks for that question. So you haven't started anything as yet. The land is just there. You want to start something.
Yes, sir. There are things already there, but it's not yet designed to the way I have it in mind. No.
No, we don't have any funds now that we provide like that for startups.
All right. So
Currently, the best. Sorry, you go ahead first.
sorry, go continue. I was going to ask you though, if I wanted to put cottages on the property, if you would fund that aspect of construction.
No. We don't fund construction. Or we fund construction only up to about 10%, but we don't do that type of construction that you're looking for. The other comment I was going to make is that, as I indicated earlier, an institution is going to want to see some commitment from you in terms of just having the raw land, and you get money to borrow to do your project. 99% of the time, you have to start that project through, whether from your savings, friends or family. Some microfinance institutions will lend you money, but if you borrow in the micro sector, your rates are going to be higher, your repayment terms are going to be shorter. I've also seen persons fund their startup operations using credit cards, but that's tricky, and you have to know how to do that. You have to get some funds, whether come together with somebody, your savings, friends or family, and get that business up and running. Otherwise, you're going to have a difficulty getting anybody to fund it for you, just like that. And you will also need to have some kind of business plan. You mentioned about 4 or 5 different businesses a while ago, from the farming to smoothies to so you need to settle, you need to start with 1 or 2, possibly. They need to be up and running. They need to be self-sustaining before you're going to be in a position to go to an institution and get money to borrow.
Okay, sir. Further, if it is that I am able to start up this farm and I cultivate stuff on it, plant some stuff on it, and clean it to the point where it looks really attractive to you, am I understanding that you can, whichever company would come in on the back end?
Wait, okay. So you have to be up and running. So you have to have a revenue stream. So it's not,
Okay.
you have to have a revenue stream. Somebody needs to be able to see that you have a business up and running that can pay a loan. Whether it be a micro loan or if you go in the commercial banks, they are going to be very stringent.
All right, sir.
You have to be up and running. You have to have an income stream for persons to see that if I lend you my money, you are generating money that can pay me back.
All right. My last question to you: do you offer grants to people
We do offer
who are grants?
We do offer grants. Grants are specific. I indicated the types of grants that we have. Look on our website and you will see information on the grants. Not sure if you were on the presentation when I was going through the list.
No, sir.
We want to go back through the list. Or I can't go back through the list now, but I would recommend I can put the DBJ's website in the chat, and I encourage you to go on the site and look at what we have there. And my email is also in the chat. You can email me for clarification, and I can get information to you.
Appreciate. Thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
Okay, you can also watch the video again on YouTube, and you're also going to get a copy of the video as well in a few days' time in your email. So you can rewatch the video to see that presentation as well. Okay, so the next question for Paul. I missed. Okay, so he wants to know the best approach for application for 2024, but actually I'm going to answer that question for you, Stephen. The best way to get a loan application or even grant is to have the due diligence of your business down pat so that it will be attractive to the organization lending to you or giving you that grant. So you'd have to get your ideation to a point or get your business ready to a point. My advice is that you join the Founder Institute's session that's coming up so that you can work through strategically how you're going to prepare for this process. And then you'll have a better chance when you go in front of DBJ for that application that you'd like. So I'll say that that is the best approach to take. Otherwise, without that process, well, Paul can tell you, right? You have a better chance if you're attractive. It looks like a business that's going somewhere. It looks like a good idea. You have solid due diligence that you have done to make it a strong point for you that you would qualify for that loan. So, okay, so I have another question from Michael. As a government contractor who needs funding to continue or medium size, can we get funding with government purchase order? And that's for Paul, I believe.
So currently, as I indicated, most of our funds go through AFIs, that's your commercial banks, or your microfinance institution, if they're prepared to fund it, then you will be able to access DBJ funding through an A5. They may not want to take the purchase order alone. If you do qualify for credit enhancement facility, they will make that assessment and they can access the credit enhancement facility without even having to come to the DBJ. It's an electronic platform that once you meet the criteria and they're comfortable with lending you money, they can go on and utilize the CEF or give you access to the CEF without coming to DBJ. It's a little difficult to answer that question because it's a blanket question. So I don't know what sector, the size of the contract, the terms of the contracts, but it is something that banks will do, provided it is attractive to them.
Great. All right, the next question is from Kenton. Will the DBJ be providing any funding support for services for the data protection in light of the Jamaica Data Protection Act being law?
So from time to time, the DBJ will create products and services based on demand in the market. I'm not sure what kind of service or what kind of product Kenton is contemplating. So
could I interject or explain?
Sure.
Good night, everyone. Okay, sir. The context of what I'm asking is this. Our Data Protection Act is built on the GDPR. All entities that handle any data for Jamaican citizens by law would have to have the requisite processes in place. Let me try to give some figures. We basically have 69,000 active companies in Jamaica. That's from the COJ. We have about 3,000 primary schools and 1,000 basic schools, pre-primary, and 180 high schools. All of these entities are just outlined. They handle the data for Jamaican citizens. By law, they have to have compliance in place by law. Now, I have not talked about our health centers. I have not talked about the number of churches that we have in place. So that's the space of the market that we are facing. So what I'm asking, a lot of these entities, just speaking as a business owner myself, a lot of companies, persons locally, they're just new to the whole Data Protection Act. Some of them haven't heard about it. I'm in the space that I offer the services, both the DPO services and cybersecurity. However, I do see there's a threat of funding for a lot of companies and persons locally. So as this law is a law of Jamaica relating to the data that is handled for our citizens, not just in Jamaica, but globally. Has there been any considered questions what could be put in place to help? I think when COVID happened, I do think DBJ had put something in place to help entities as they did their transition to continue their business operation from a digital space. Now, with how stuff is going globally from a data protection and the effects of not having the proper things in place for companies, I'm not even going to name examples of entities that have been affected last year going into this year. I'm just wondering if any discussion could be held from DBJ to offer, I would say, whether grants or funding or guidance for persons who offer the services and for entities who are trying to find the funding to make sure that they're compliant with the law of the land. So that's what I am trying to get an answer to or give a perspective for. Because at the end of the day, all right, Founders Institute, by virtue of having this webinar and taking our names and our addresses, they have to be compliant with the act because they have data for Jamaican citizens. And it's not a gloss over, if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand, Kenton. I would say the very short answer because we are also in the throes of trying to manage our own internal issues as it relates to Data Protection Act. I was part of a meeting last week where we looked at just exactly how DBJ will maneuver, what we can or cannot do going forward. So before we even get to make a determination as to whether or not there's a gap in the market that we need to be stepping into, we are trying to understand what it is that we need to do before. So I can't tell you yes and I can't tell you no, because we have a product development unit that which is always scanning the landscape to see where opportunities are for DBJ to be most impactful. And I know that they are working. Whether or not we will come to the market with a product, I can't tell you yes and I can't tell you no. We are also looking to see how the Data Protection Act affects our operation and how we need to put systems in place to ensure that we are also compliant with the law. So it's still early days yet. I can't give you anything more than that at this juncture.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, John.
All right, I think Akeem Laws wanted to ask a question. Or do you want to open your mic?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out, first and foremost, for having this very informative. Before I start, just let me say, I'm a returning resident, and I'm here I have a business here already that does government contracts, but that's not the focus at the moment. I'm into the agriculture space. But what I wanted to ask Mr. Paul Chin today is about funding, because I came on the seminar late, my bad, the timing. I got my calendar, put it in the GMT because I live in London. So it told me it was 11 p.m. So my bad. So so the company that I'm in partnership with, 50-50 with both owners. A lot of farmers are on the call, so I don't want to tell my business too much because they're my competitors. So we've already started making money. So we are in supermarkets selling various grown provisions, and we're doing it in a package form. So we're doing maybe like 8,000 units, and we're only in a few supermarkets, maybe about 3 or 4, we're doing about 8,000 units per month. But it's a very scalable business, and we wanted to get loans for equipment to get the business to that international level as per the discussion that was happening here earlier. So I wanted to know what type of loans or what type of scheme, I apologize again for coming on the program late, what type of loans or what type of schemes are available to help us scale. So or what type of funding is available to help us scale. So anyone on the floor could answer that for me, please. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that question, Akeem. I'll go first. So you mentioned that you have a revenue stream, and I also imagine that you have a banking relationship with an institution.
Yes.
Okay. And are you passing your business funds through that institution?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked that question because that is one of the problems that a lot of MSMEs face. They go cash, and when they go to the bank, they're not able to substantiate claims that they're making $1 or $2 or $10 million per annum, per month, per quarter, whatever. So it's good that you're doing that. So what I would say to you is approach your institution to see what it is that they have to offer. No, institutions borrowed money through the DBJ as well. As a matter of fact, let me go the other route. I had put a If you're seeing my screen, there's a WhatsApp number on the screen, 876-371-3830.
Roger.
Send us a message on the WhatsApp line. Provide your contact information. Give us, I don't know, one sentence as to what you're interested in, and somebody from the DBJ will call you, and they'll take you through some deeper questions to determine how best the DBJ can assist you.
Okay, amazing. Just to add to that as well, I've got a very important concern. I don't know about everyone else's problem, but the issue I also face dealing with the financial sector is the inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the timing. Like, for argument's sake, it says speaking to the institution. Like, I don't like throwing people under the bus, but I won't mention any name or the institution. But I'm speaking to one branch manager to get some funding, spoke to him at a very prosperous conversation in December, gave him all the details, all of the tax compliance letter, everything. He sees everything, what's happening in the account. He see the type of money we're moving, we're doing very well. 2 months later, he still hasn't replied. So I hope the DBJ is not like that, where we have to wait 2 months to get a response after we have submitted everything that you have asked for, because, the world is moving underneath our feet. And as technology is evolving, someone else will see the idea or the opportunity, and before you know it, we're late to our own party. So honest to God, I just really hope we're very fast and efficient. So yeah, that's my only little concern as well.
Okay. Noted, Akeem. Okay.
Okay. I think I'm seeing Stephen. Stephen would like to ask another question.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I am one of 7 members within my startup. I submitted an application to the DBJ, to the Founder Institute on the 27th of August last year. However, that location was for San Diego. I was told the application for San Diego was closed early, and I'm trying to relocate my application to another location. I'm currently not in the island now. However, I'd like my application to be reconsidered.
Okay, so just go to fi.co/Jamaica, and it should bring you to the Jamaican site, and you can make an application from that page. Okay. So okay, I think I'm not seeing any more questions. Any final questions before we turn over to Wayne? No. Okay, Wayne, can go ahead.
All right, just briefly, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share with you one other funding vehicle. As Paul mentioned in his presentation, the DBJ does facilitate private equity and venture capital vehicles. The latest one that's coming on the market is one that is called M-Scale. They've already received a commitment from DBJ to the tune of about $5 million. That is an anchor investment, and they're now in the process of doing a raise to achieve a first close by the middle of March. What that means is that you wouldn't be able to access funding from them until about April, once they have closed the first round of funding. It's a hybrid fund, meaning that they're doing both venture capital and private equity. As we indicated at the start of the conversation, there's not a lot of early stage investment available in the landscape. The private equity guys start from 3-4 million up, which is not relevant to a lot of startup enterprises or SMEs. But M-Scale starts at $200,000 US and up to $2 million US for their venture capital fund, the portion. They're reserved almost 75% of the funds they're going to raise for, let me just share this one slide, for persons operating a high performance business. And what they're looking for really is they're looking for high growth firms that has the capacity to scale regionally and globally. So it's a Caribbean base. It's anchored in Jamaica, but it's servicing SMEs right across the Caribbean, and they're looking for companies in these verticals: the entertainment and sport, financial services, agribusiness and logistics, and health and human services. So I saw Dwayne on the chat, so this might be of some interest. We're gonna arrange a follow-up call with Hugo, who is a fund manager for this fund, but he's overseas raising money now. We had to fly out urgently this afternoon. What two things you need to know about this fund in terms of the type of business that they're looking for. One is that it has to be technology enabled and technology driven, because that leads into the second point, which is that they want companies that have the capacity to scale regionally and globally. Now, Yuga is from Africa, and he ran a number of funds and sat, in privileged position with the development banks there. So he has strong contacts in Africa, and that's a $1.5 billion market. So, he wants company that can be incubated in Jamaica, beta tested in the region, and scaled to Africa and to the United States. So if you have that growth mindset, this might be something for you to consider. As Tina indicated in her presentation, the path to achieving venture capital funding is not the easiest one, because they're looking for a type of business that has both the mindset and ambition to scale and grow, and also they put the relevant business systems in place to allow them to grow with control. And it's not easy. It normally requires a team, normally requires heavy use of technology, and it requires that you have a kind of global outlook. The final thing I mentioned about this fund, and it should be the first really, is that the fund is also an impact fund. So it's looking for business that does well in terms of its financial matrix, but also have a positive impact on the national goals, and more appropriately, the sustainable development goals that are championed by the UN. And they're looking for companies that can return, especially for venture capital fund firms. They're looking for 11x return on investment, and for the private equity firms, which is from $2 to $6 million in terms of investment ticket size, they're looking for returns of 3x. But those are more stable companies, less risky. So the returns profile would be a little bit more conservative. But for early stage ventures that they anticipate would be a little bit more risky, require a lot more effort and support to scale, you can look to provide a much higher return in the 10x, 11x kind of region. So I'll stop there, and if you guys are interested in this, you can ask me questions, and we can arrange a follow-up kind of presentation with Hugo and his team.
I would be interested in the follow-up presentation.
Perfect. You're interested in who spoke? Who's interested in venture capital?
This is Kenton Roberts.
Okay, Kenton. What's the business?
I'm in the cybersecurity field. I also provide solutions for the data privacy.
Perfect. You're right in the wheelhouse. But it's not only for technology firm, but it's firm that has the capacity to embrace technology to scale. Stephen?
Yes, good night. I'm also interested in M-Scale as well.
Okay. All right, guys, I think that we're actually approaching the end of the presentation. Well, the time reserved for the webinar. So I'll hand back over to Tanelia.
Okay, great. Thank you, Wayne. Okay, so if you're interested in hearing more about this venture capital session, you can drop your email into the chat. You can direct message me, Founder Institute, and then I'll do it, and then I'll add you to that list. Also, if you want, I'll also publish that announcement on my LinkedIn page. So you can visit my LinkedIn page, and I'll just drop that in the chat. Okay, so it's that LinkedIn page. So any announcements for any events or anything like that, you will be able to get updates from my profile. So that's good then. Any more questions before we go? And tonight?
No more questions from me, but thanks again.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out. We really appreciate your interaction and the questions. They were very good, and I hope that you had enjoyed the presentation and you have taken something away from that can help you to grow and establish your business and fund your business. So we hope the information was helpful. Just want to shout out to our leaders, fellow leaders. Do you have anything you want us to add just before we go from this group?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Opton and Paul for taking the time to share their financing options with us. I thought it was a rich discussion. I've been around in this space for a long time, and I didn't realize that both Exim and DBJ would have extended their portfolio to better respond to the needs of the SME and entrepreneurs. So I just want to thank them very much. And we do look forward to a fruitful partnership going forward.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. So I wanted to add a LinkedIn for all the leaders. But leaders, can you just drop your LinkedIn profile link into the chat for anybody that wants to contact us on LinkedIn while I grab these email addresses? Thank you. Okay. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Our next event will be about pitching. So if you have that business idea or you want to know how to pitch to investors, we have a pitching session next week, Thursday, the 29th of February, same time at 6 o'clock. We'll be here with an expert showing you how to do an elevator pitch. And we'll also ask you to come as well. If you have an idea, you want to test your pitching, your elevator pitch, then you can come and try out as well to get some feedback from investors and professionals and experts that will be online that night. So that is for next Thursday, the 29th at 6 o'clock. We're inviting you to come out and pitch your business to us, or learn how to do an elevator pitch. For persons who don't know what an elevator pitch is, it's a very brief, about 30-second or less pitch. So to somebody about your business idea. So it's about condensing everything about your business, the important information, and saying that to somebody. The whole purpose of it is if you're at the elevator with an investor and you had to tell your idea, by the time they get to their floor, can you finish talking about the essence of your business so that they would be interested? So that is what we're going to talk about next week, Thursday. So look out on the LinkedIn page for that. Something should be there on the FI website as well. So please register for that if you're interested. Very good information. I believe every business person, if you're in business, you should be a master pitcher. You should be able to pitch your business half drunk in a crowded bar off the top of your head. So it's a very good thing to know, and it actually is necessary for you to know. So we hope that we'll see you all next week as well. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for the emails in the chat. I have noted all of them. And have a good evening.